My name is Cathy Flatt. I'm 53 years old. Will be 54 in June. And I have been a cancer survivor for 5.5 years now. October will be 6 years. I'm a registered nurse, but don't practice anymore. Have lived here in Cookeville or surrounding area all of my life. I have 2 children that are grown and attend college. Jason, a son, Lindsay, a daughter, and they're the light of my life. I was diagnosed by a mammogram in 2006. I had been taking yearly mammograms, doing yearly mammograms since I turned 40, and it was just the thing to do, you know. At that time it was just everyone at 40 started doing mammograms. I know that later on there was some question about whether it had to be at 40 or later, or not every year but every other year. But I am a survivor because I had one every year. Because in 2005, I always had them in October, which is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but at that time it was just the time that I used to get my mammograms. It was the yearly anniversary of getting them. So in 2005, my mammogram was clear. In 2006, 1 year, I had a noticeable lump that you could actually see on the mammogram. So I say that I'm a walking advertisement for mammograms yearly. In 1 year's time, I went from totally normal to breast cancer in 1 year's time. No family history, not even immediate, not even cousins or anything that I can remember ever having it. So I was not a person of history. You know, family history was not in my makeup. It goes to show that you could be the 1 in 8 that they say now. I remember that's what my husband said to me. He's a family physician, and I would say, why do you think this happened? Because I don't have a family history. And he said, you just have to look at it, you're 1 in 8. 1 in 8 will get it. And you'll never know the reason why. When they called me back after the mammogram was done and told me they wanted to take some more views. And I've actually had that done before, so I really wasn't thinking anything about it. But for some reason, when they did this time, I would just tell my friend, Nancy, that I had to go back for more views, and she said, well, I'll go with you if you want me to. And I said, okay. I didn't think really about it. But when I went in for the more views and was sitting there waiting in their little waiting area, then they came back in and said they wanted to do an ultrasound. And then things got a little, I got a little nervous and wondering. I thought, okay, this hasn't happened before. So when they did take me back for the ultrasound, I could actually see it on the screen. I was not alone when I found out. It was a big shock. Also at the same time it was like, okay. Because I've had several friends that have already gone through this at much younger ages than me. And I think that prepared me for it not to be a total shock, that it had happened to me. And from that point on, of course, the meeting with surgeons and chemo doctors and radiation, just preliminary talks. I went in for a lumpectomy, and that was very successfully done. And then I started having chemo treatments after that. And I had the adriamycin, what they call the red devil, and the Cytoxan, and then had that for about 6 months, and then a little break, and then Taxol. So I had 2 different kinds, 2 different rounds of chemotherapy, because it showed the lump, but outside the lump were 3 little small dots that kind of showed up too. So they said to be careful, make sure we got it all. We went through the 2 different sets of chemo, and then followed by 35 treatments of radiation. It was a lot. Got it done in less than a year. Had the hair loss. Not too much problems with nausea because of the meds they give you to help with that, and they did help me quite a bit. But just the fatigue and the total complete loss of energy from, basically being poisoned, because it's basically what it is, but it does the job, and it worked for me. I did not have any node involvement, so I was lucky in that respect. I did here in Cookeville at the Cancer Center here. They were wonderful. They made it so much easier than it could have been. The nurses, the physicians, they were just awesome people, supportive people, and your comfort. When I was there for chemo with all the other patients that were there, our comfort was their topmost priority. I was very satisfied and pleased to be able to stay here and do the treatments. From the moment my diagnosis was made, it fully soaked into me that I had a battle ahead. Everything changed. My whole perspective on everything. Things that I thought were major issues were not major issues anymore. And all I wanted to do was get through the treatment, get well, and move forward so that I could be here with my children, my family, my friends, and continue to go on to a healthy life after treatment. Kept a positive perspective the whole time. Really helps that I had so many friends that were there with me, different friends going to chemo with me and staying the entire time. Very, very important to have that network of support around you. I was encouraged to exercise as much as I felt like it, because it is terribly hard to be active at all when you are feeling so drugged down. The medicine just saps your strength and your energy. But whatever you can do while you're going through it is good. It's good to try. And I did continue to try and just do what I could do. I did not limit my going places. I actually traveled to California with friends during the chemo. When I had a small break in between, went out there, did a hot air balloon ride, and walked in San Francisco. And it was tiring, but I told myself I'm going to do this. So I would not miss that opportunity to do that trip that was already planned in advance before my diagnosis. It wasn't easy, but it was enjoyable, and it's a memory I'll always have. I had wonderful friends that actually went to chemo with me, came, brought food, just gave me a lot of love and support through cards and calls. Just so many friends. And then my kids too. My kids helped me here on the home front. I no longer had to worry about fixing meals or cleaning things up. They helped with that and took every opportunity they could to do things for me so that I would not have to, and I could save my strength for other things. I was trying to think that the thought about what I would have missed without early treatment, and it came back to me, what would I not have missed? There was too many things that went on in that 5 years. My daughter's graduation from high school, acceptance into Belmont for a music program, just things like that, just everyday stuff too, of being able to be here with my family, my friends. I would have missed a lot just in the everyday moments of life that I find enjoyable. Not just the big things, the little things are what is important, and I realized that upon the treatment, that is what matters. The little things are important. I had a renewed perspective on life. I found that my faith in God helped me along the journey, because it was like, okay, I've been dealt this path, and I have to do what I have to do to make it to the other side. And I did. I say that my most important thing that helped me be where I am, that I am cancer-free, is the early detection through mammogram. Breast exams alone are not enough. My doctor could not palpate the mass that I had. it was back close to the breast wall, the chest wall. So it was not really palpable. And so it was kind of a shock to my family physician that I had it, because it wasn't palpable and did not show up on my yearly exam with my physician. So the mammogram saved my life. The most important thing a woman can do, age 40, is to go get your mammogram and get it every year. Make that be a priority in your life, that you get that mammogram every year. And if you have a feeling, if you have a question about something not feeling exactly right, don't ignore it. Go ahead and seek advice from your physician. Go ahead with a mammogram, because it is the most basic thing that women need to do. I advise every woman, trust your instincts, what your body's telling you, whatever fleeting thought might go through your brain, that something's not right, and act on it. That's the most important thing. Act on your feelings. The Susan G. Komen Society is fundamental in getting the word out. As a registered nurse and a person in the medical field, I've always been aware of that fact, that you don't have to have a certain genetic makeup or a certain family history or demographic. You can become someone who is diagnosed at an early age if you don't follow through with your health care, your yearly physicals. You know, that point it can go on to be something that can cause the loss of your life. I have a cousin on my husband's side who was diagnosed in her 30s, and she is still fighting the fight against it, and this has been 10 years for her. She still is fighting the fight. And Susan G. Komen just has put it out there to understand and realize that, yes, I do need to take this seriously. I don't need to think that I'm too young for this to happen to me. If you have a bad feeling, act on it, have it checked out, because it strikes at any age.